All right, I'd like to call the Village Council Work Session Meeting to order, May 29th, 2025. Show the time at 6:01 PM. Show that we have a full quorum. I thought you weren't going to be here. Anyway, so that said, we don't need to allow remote participation, so we need to adopt the agenda.
So I need to add 3 things to the consent agenda. Number 11, consider affirmation of previously approved inclusive contract extension for asphalt paving services with Red Clay Industries. 12, consider approval of asphalt resurfacing of Wheatfield Drive and Wingfoot Drive entrances associated with Fog Seal Project with Red Clay Industries, all-inclusive asphalt vendor, and an amount not to exceed $53,000 with a 10% contingency. Number 13, information only, RFP for Village Hall Park. And those are my only changes.
Any concerns with that? Any other changes or eliminations of anything? Nothing heard? Okay, I'll need a motion to present the agenda as amended.
So moved.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Adoption of the previous minutes. Any questions?
Nope.
Any of you?
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to adopt the minutes from 5/13/25 budget work session and 5/13/25 regular as presented.
Further discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, feedback from the previous public comment period. Do we have any?
I don't have any this week.
All right. Presentations. Presentations of Village Hall Park plans for Dewberry Engineering. Tyler, I'm assuming that's you. What you got?
Yeah, so we're going to pull it up on the screen, but I have Daniel and Tristan. Yeah, so I got Daniel and Tristan here from Dewberry. They were nice enough to drive down here and present on these 100% park construction plans that they finalized. Pretty much just to talk over some stuff, answer some questions for the council, and I'll kind of turn it over to the guys.
Sounds good. Thank you all. I'm Tristan McManus. I run the Site Civil Group in the Dewberry Charlotte office, and Daniel Jones is with me tonight, and he's going to go over where we're at with the plan currently.
All right, and without further ado here, Tyler, if you don't mind scrolling down, let's go to the landscape plans. That's going to be sheet 20 of 22. All right, perfect. Thank you. So I think since last time we saw the plans, we'll kind of just discuss, I guess, a couple of the changes here that we've made since the last time we presented the plans to you. So most notably, we've made a few changes up in this area based on our coordination with the permitting agencies. We've decided to made a few adjustments here to the sidewalk alignment. We also had a rain garden area that was over here. We ultimately decided to not go with that and instead decided to go with an option to do pervious concrete for the sidewalk, which ultimately is a better option as far as promotes infiltration. And then one of the other benefits with that is that we were able to preserve the existing tree canopy in this area. And let's see. And then as far as some of the other changes go, let's see, we made an adjustment over here to this sidewalk connection, and that's going to be ultimately, we're going to have that as an add alternate on the plans currently. So that's going to be an option. We already have the one connection here to the sidewalk project, which is under a separate project, this sidewalk along the public right-of-way. We've already got that one connection here, but we've got this second connection as an add alternate.
think that covers the bulk of it, and then, all right, what I was gonna say, in addition to what Daniel mentioned, switching to permeable concrete also allowed us to eliminate that second stormwater BMP, which, as far as costs go, it's probably a wash with the initial construction cost. But the added benefit here is you don't have the maintenance burden of having a stormwater BMP that has to be maintained and plants replaced. So overall, long-term, we thought that was a better solution for y'all. And again, with the permeable concrete, it's fully ADA compliant, and it's just more environmentally friendly because it allows the water to just basically percolate straight through the pavement right into the subgrade. So I guess with that, I mean, those are the major changes that were made, so this is about ready to go back in for permit review. So if y'all have any questions or anything you want to specifically, we're happy to answer those for you.
To the right of the building, I see brick pavers.
Where are you talking about
Saying that
exactly?
to the right of the building?
Yeah, right there, yep.
So that's supposed to be concrete as well. That's going to be permeable concrete also. And that's the alternate that Daniel mentioned, that, we're going to include that when it goes out to bid as an alternate.
Wait, say that again? I'm sorry, say that again.
So we're going to include that as an alternate when this goes out to bid. So you guys can elect, if the bids come in lower than anticipated, and you've got some extra funding, you can afford it, you can go ahead and include it, or you can elect to not build it.
Got it, okay.
Because we still haven't figured out what's going on with a monument that's going out in that side yard, so placement of it could change and all kinds of different things could change, so.
And that would be,
Absolutely.
honestly, it'd be easy enough if something comes up, if they had to change the field, it's not a big deal.
Just one this is more, so when we're still talking about that monument, are we still talking to that group about
Yes,
that?
we are.
Okay, so they've re-engaged?
Yeah, we've been,
I would imagine they could also work around what we, because we need to move forward.
Yeah, we have money.
that's not
Yeah.
a necessary sidewalk.
Okay, I know, I'm just saying that,
John, has PRG looked at this?
No, we've not seen this yet at PRG.
These are fresh plans just received, so this is, they'll see it at the next meeting.
Okay. But we need to go ahead and,
It's on Tuesday's agenda for PRG to look at.
okay, so if they have an issue, then we can, I guess, bring it up at the June meeting? Okay. Because I know we need to get moving with the RFP, so, because we have a time frame with money, correct? Jill, when do we have to spend this money by?
Microphone.
Almost.
It's December of 2026.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, God. I always knew God was a woman. Just kidding. Hi, Christina. You said December of 26?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, looks good to me.
A lot of work has gone into this.
Yeah.
A lot of back and forth, a lot of
Yeah.
discussions.
All right, well, I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna actually change it just a smidge. I'm gonna make a motion to approve the plans presented by Dewberry Engineering and move forward with the bidding process for the construction of Village Hall Park, subject to PRG's approval.
Or, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and then if they don't like it, they can tell us why, and then we can talk, I mean, we literally have a meeting in like 2 weeks, so. Okay.
further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Okay. Thanks you guys for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you all for your time this evening.
Thank you for the people, I know we've had multiple people working on this from different boards and stuff, so thank you for all that help.
There was a lot.
Reports and updates, managers report.
I don't have anything, Mr. Mayor.
Clerk and communications report.
Good evening, council. The only thing tonight is, I have got your communication list for June. Take a look at it. It's pretty standard stuff. Last day of school for the kids. Meetings, coffee of council, we're doing a car show this month. Other than that, other than what's on the list, it'd be just like minor posts as they come up.
Looks good, and happy birthday, Austin.
Thank you. Not everybody would enjoy being at work on their birthday, but you know, y'all are all right.
We all have to do it at some point. And this is your golden birthday, it's what, 28? You're 28?
I'm 31, but I'll take whatever I can get.
I'm not supposed to ask you. Sorry. I wasn't on, I wasn't
Jill's
on my gig.
28.
Oh, is that over there? Okay, all right, we'll go with that.
You got confused.
All right, thank you, Austin. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I'm just looking at my
you're
battery's
about to
almost,
die.
I'm about to die here, but it's not. Apologize. Okay, next up, planners report.
Hello, council. I will be speaking in lieu of Hunter's absence. All we have for you today is in front of you. We printed out the Village of Marvin Comprehensive Plan RFQ draft. Hunter would like me to let you know that he will have the final draft for you guys by the June meeting. All he is asking you is to review and give us feedback. If you have any comments or concerns, please send them to him, not me. Thank you.
Any questions?
When,
Thank you, Pauline.
when you said it's in front of us, did you give us a hard copy?
Did you not get one? You can take mine.
No, I don't think I got one.
You didn't get,
Is that this?
you rated all the hard copies. That's why I had so many extras.
that around to John.
So any questions?
Who didn't get one?
Hughes to Hunter.
Here you go.
Oh, look at that, it worked out. Oh, I dropped, okay.
Okay,
That one's mine.
moving on. Public Works report.
Good evening. I have a couple of updates to give. First is on Newtown Road maintenance cost. Staff was requested to provide projected maintenance cost for Newtown Road should Marvin consider taking over maintenance responsibilities from the North Carolina Department of Transportation. Staff reached out to AMT Engineering. They've assigned a staff member to put together a small study to provide those projections for us. But we do expect that to take about a 3 to 4 week time period before we get that information back. So as we get it back, I'll present it at an upcoming meeting for you. Also want to provide a STRAP grant update. Staff recently met with Dewberry Engineers to discuss potential sites that were documented during a recent site assessment. Next steps in the process now include mapping the focus area, reaching out to property owners adjacent to the focus area, and Dewberry environmental staff actually going out and performing the environmental surveys, which should take place as early as next week. It may take them a few days to go through that and to provide those studies. It could be over a week. But once they complete their studies, then they're going to turn it over to their survey crew, who should be getting started on their portion sometime in mid-June. And so that's the update I have for STRAP. Any questions? Yes, sir.
One quick question that I received, and it's sort of on the border of Marvin. Do you know what's going on at Ray and Tom Short with all the trucks?
They're paving the road.
They're just paving, nothing else? I was asked a question because I traveled that route, and I said, we were talking about different areas with the person, and I said, that was DOT. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. All right, next up, we have event planning report.
We do coffee with council debrief.
Okay, we'll suspend the rules and.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. Okay, we'll go right into coffee with council debrief. That was really quick. Wayne, you want to take it?
Sure. We had 0 visitors, and appears that no one has a problem with the council this week. so, last week.
It was good catching up with you, though. We had
Yes.
a nice hour of good conversation,
Yes,
so.
insurance
Thank
and
you.
everything else,
Everything, yeah.
Do you?
Airbnb.
Yeah, he had fun.
Good,
Yeah, he kept looking out I think he didn't like just being with me because he kept looking out the window to see, is anybody coming? Is anybody coming? And
I was gonna
unfortunately, it
open the
was
door for
just me you had to deal with. so.
Freedom.
Thank you. All right, moving back, we're going to go event planning report.
5K this Saturday. Registration's still live. I believe you can still sign up on the Run Sign Up link until tomorrow night. We already have 175 runners, I believe. We got about 14 vendors out there, all kind of health and wellness focused. We're gonna have. What time? 14? Yeah. Yeah, we got a little health fair going on. We got some cool local people. The 5K, the health fair is starting at 8 a.m. The 5K is at 9 a.m. and the kids' fun run is at 10 a.m. And the whole thing, the whole kind of parking lot party will go on till 10:30, 11 o'clock, after the kids' fun run. And then when everybody starts to dwindle out, we'll shut it down. But I'd say till about 11 o'clock, you're good to come by and hang out, and we'll have a coffee truck. And we got Publix coming down here. We got some snacks for the runners and waters and stuff. The DJ's going to be out there. So it'll be a fun little morning.
What's start time again?
8 a.m. fair is open for hanging out, and then 9 a.m. is when we'll launch the 5K.
So I never heard back from you. My son's chomping at the bit to volunteer.
Oh, he's coming to. He wants to volunteer.
I sent you a text like a month ago. And I never
I'll have to dig back in the
Out
archive.
over
My
the
gosh.
speaker.
so,
Andy.
bring him
Okay,
by and
yeah.
you'll put him to work because
Oh, I can work him.
he asked me right after Marvin Day, like, what can I do?
Well, I can work him.
Did, the gentleman's card I gave you, was that any help?
I did push it to him, for him, and I mean, we've had, it's hard to say. It's hard to say, but he did get,
Posted in his store.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
I
that's
just-
good then. I'm glad he did that. That was nice. I feel like the word's gotten around. We have a lot, on the Run Sign Up, I can see like where people are from, and there's a lot of Marvin Waxhaw, like a lot of local people, so that's good to see.
Did that sponsor ever reach out to you, the Fifth Third, or did you call them?
We haven't, we've been done one message back and forth. We hadn't had a good
Okay.
chat yet.
They did express interest in any events we're doing. They would like to
Right.
be a part of it. And I believe Jill can confirm they are our bank that we use, so.
Yeah.
They seem very open to that, and I said I would pass that along, so.
No, that's very cool. And then coming up in June 21st, which is a Saturday, from 8 to 11, Saturday morning, June 21st, we'll have our Marvin Car Show. Bring out your classics, exotics. If you got something cool, bring it out to Eford Park. We'll have breakfast truck, we'll have coffee trucks. We're partnered up with First Class Cars, and they're going to be doing some cool giveaways. So that's going to be a very cool morning. Stop on by, bring your cool car. If you're just out in the public, come to the park, look around, see something. So yeah, June 21st.
So we didn't have any say in that date, do we?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought, okay. No, I mean, I know I won't be able to make it, which I really like to be at these things. So
I'll come get your car.
come get my car.
come get your car.
I'll give you the keys, and
He's like,
I'm sure you'll just take,
will
I'm
definitely
sure
come get
you'll
the
just take it straight to Eford Park and right back, right?
I promise. Just there and back.
Okay. Awesome.
Any question? Cool.
No questions, I don't think. Any other questions? Thank you. All right, consent agenda. I'll need a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
So moved.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next up, public hearing to consider the adoption of the fiscal year 2025, 2026 general fund budget ordinance. We've been working on this number of months. What you got?
So I will take this over if you don't mind, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council.
Thank you, Christina.
All right, so, sorry, I apologize in advance, but this is going to be a little bit of reading for those that are there in the audience and those that may be listening back at this. So by now, you've probably all seen the budget message that's been published. We sent it out around May 14th. And I just want to first and foremost thank all of staff and council for going through all of the fun budget work sessions, and more particularly Jill. She's put a lot of work into this, and so I do thank everyone that's been involved in this process thus far. So attached in your agenda packets, and it's been published on the website for the public, is the 26 budget for the Village of Marvin, which marks the 31st annual operating budget. The recommended budget is 3.5 million, which is a $369,000 increase from the current year's budget, which is approximately 12%. Now, it's important to note that that 12% is not all ad valorem, which is your property taxes. So for those that are listening at home thinking that their taxes are going up 12%, that is not the case. This 12% includes all revenue types, which include sales tax, permits, investments, unrestricted intergovernmental funds, which include beer and wine, utility sales tax. So when you see that, that's not what that actually means. This is also representing a $200,000 increase over the appropriations in our fund balance. We have some restricted POW bill funding that we are putting aside for some road projects that we've got coming up, and I'll go over that in just a second. As you all know, this was a revaluation year from Union County's Appraisal and Valuation Division. As of March of 2025, the assessed valuation of real property in Marvin is approximately $2.5 billion. That was a 64% increase over prior year's valuation. And with this proposed budget that we've got in front of you, we are actually proposing a tax rate decrease. The village estimates approximately $150,000 increase over the current years in the property taxes. Revenue neutral tax rate is required. We have to let you know what the revenue neutral tax rate is in accordance with General Statute 159-11E. That reappraisal that revenue neutral rate is approximately 0.0516. Council may elect to adopt the revenue neutral tax rate, hold the current tax rate steady for the fiscal year 26, or elect to keep a tax rate, the tax rate the same, which is currently 0.08, or adopt a decreased rate for 2026. Statute defines how revenue neutral is calculated to produce the same amount of revenue that the current fiscal year has, had there been no revaluation. Council directed staff to add $53,000 of the budget cuts that we had initially proposed to you all when we were going through work sessions. Staff had initially proposed a budget. We subsequently cut it about $280,000. And then once we had these discussions about revenue neutral, you all decided to come back with some increases based on accounting for inflation. So it's important to note here that some taxpayers may see individual tax bills increase. Some may see individual tax bills decrease. It all depends on how their specific reappraisal results turned out. So all that to say that the recommended tax rate for this year is 0.563 for fiscal year 26. That's a 30% tax rate deduction that we have from the current fiscal year. This recommended budget is balanced, and it does reflect a 2.37 tax rate decrease and no increase in solid waste fees. Since 2010, the village has witnessed a surge of growth, and tax rates have remained relatively stable, increasing 1 cent in 2020 to fund additional law enforcement officer, and then 2 cents in 2025 to fund the Bonds Grove Waxhaw Marvin roundabout, and high inflation, which has caused an increase in operational cost. Even with these increases, the Village of Marvin retains the lowest tax rate in Union County amongst municipalities that own and maintain a roadway system. The revenue sources that we have for the budget are the ad valorem, which is your property taxes, real and personal. That represents about 42% of revenues. And with new residential development and voluntary annexed properties, this number will steadily increase. If anyone looks at the budget and calculates out the percentage of increase that revenue had in ad valorem, you'll see an 11% increase in ad valorem. Keep in mind that is not solely from tax rating, the tax increase. That is solely from some of these new properties that have been annexed, in addition to us accounting for small inflation. Revenues for also come from unrestricted intergovernmental revenues, tax from the beer and wine, utility sales tax, local option sales tax, which is about 21% of all revenues. They have remained relatively flat this year. We have projected a slight decrease in the sales and use tax. PAL bill dollars are about 6% of the total operating budget. Those are relatively the same. Permits and fees are roughly 6%. Solid waste is about 15%, and there's again no increase in solid waste from the previous year. Investment revenues are projected to come up 29% just due to some strategies that we're changing up in the North Carolina Capital Trust Management. Overall, this is important to note, overall, total revenues are expected to be just 1% higher than our current amended operating budget. Fund balance, we will, like in previous years, we will have a fund balance appropriation. This is for one-time expenditures. We have approximately $50,000 in unassigned fund balance. This is the lowest that we've ever had in the last couple of years. And then we have, let's see, approximately $10,000 in solid waste reserves, $10,000 from streets, and then we have another $125 from PAL bill funds. So that to say, Village Council met in January, February of this year for our retreat. We had a really good strategic planning session. The last budget work session, we actually adopted a strategic plan. And inside of that, we were able to check off some boxes. So the vision and strategy for this year that this budget presented before you meets are, again, the continued maintenance of our 15-year amortization schedule at the Village Hall facility, the commitment to communications resources for public education and awareness, the continued growth of the capital project fund for the Bonds Grove Waxhaw Marvin roundabout project, the continued operation of the solid waste with an additional bulk collection event at no increase to taxpayers or ratepayers, continued prioritization of public safety with an 8% increase for law enforcement coverage during peak times 7 days a week, as well as additional off-duty officers supplementing 1 to 2 times per week for traffic control and speed mitigation. I will remind everyone this is not something we have generally put as a proposal in the operating budget. This is something that you guys decided to do last year, and it seemed to be pretty successful. So it is being put in as proposed. Funding is approved with the General Fund Capital Improvement Plan, continued third-party services with our certified public accountant to ensure public standards are being met for fiscally sound operations. And then we are also funding the new Parks and Greenways Master Plan. We also are continuing to fund road preservation strategy by saving PAL bills into the reserves to implement in the following year, maintaining employee competitive benefits. And then there's been some increases and some benefits that are required by the North Carolina Local Government Employees Retirement System. And then last but not least, we have other operational increases for the creation of a street trees program, a new community survey, and then Marvin Heritage District Master Planning Consultant, which I think is actually going to be turned into a comprehensive plan. So all that to say, we are proposing a $3.5 million budget of revenues and expenditures. Matching, you also have in your budget message all the transfers of the Greenways Capital Fund balance, the Bonds Grove Waxhaw Marvin that's being put, $266,000 is being put into that capital project. And then we've also listed all of the capital project ordinances with the total project authorization and the balances that are available. So thank you for all of your support and leadership during this time, and thank you for all the employees that have accomplished so much this past year and moving into next year are ready and eager to start this this fiscal year that we've got proposed to you. So without further ado, I would ask for you to consider the budget that's been presented before you, and I will stand by to answer any questions.
Do we need to open it up for public comments?
You do, no one has signed up, so you are good to proceed with closing the public hearing.
Okay, so we need a motion
You
to
do not
open-
need a motion, you can
Okay.
just declare it.
So just say the public hearing's closed.
Okay, so the public hearing is now closed. We'll open up for questions for Christina. Does anyone have any?
Christina, do we know where the county has ended up yet with versus revenue neutral and so forth? Because I think it's especially important, you know, as many in the village of Marvin will be paying higher just because of the values that have gone up, that residents understand the different component of how we affect that, but also how what's happening at the county, you know, will affect that as well.
I have not, I'm not sure if Jill can comment on that. We are typically a little ahead of most places, so I don't know that they have. Jill, do you happen to know any?
They have not yet adopted their budget. They are likely not to go revenue neutral. I don't believe, as of the last update I got, there's not a single municipality in Union County or the county itself that's actually going to go revenue neutral. They're all struggling to have a good, healthy, balanced budget at a revenue neutral rate. So I don't anticipate it, but according to some of the commissioners, they're trying to keep the impact as low as possible. It's the best they can say for now.
Thank you. If we could just stay on top of that, I think it's important to continue to communicate that out, because that, you know, as a percentage of your taxes, is a much larger percentage than even what we do here.
So we don't typically communicate to our residents what the county is doing with their budget. We certainly can if that's something that you would like us to do, but I would encourage all residents and everyone listening to go to the Union County website. Their budget meetings are listed there. Their draft of their budget is listed. They can view it. They can watch playbacks just like they can our meeting. And I think in the next couple of weeks, you'll see them start to make decisions on a tax rate. And they should also be messaging their commissioners and possibly going to those meetings and signing up for public comment.
Thank you.
So I just did some quick math with my mathematician off to my right here, and she confirmed it. While we are not technically going revenue neutral, it's the taxes in for the municipality, just to be clear, are going up 0.005 to get to where we are going to land if this gets approved?
Yeah, we only went a half a cent above revenue neutral to approve this budget. And that was truly just to help us save and plan for future projects that are underway and desperately needed by the village.
Okay. Well, we can't call it revenue neutral, but it wasn't much of a thing based on what else may happen in different municipalities. Christine, I did have a question for you. We had that situation with one of our vendors that wanted to come back and change things. Do we see any or foresee any other vendors that would, during the year, want to come back and maybe change, like, well, we didn't plan for this? And I think I was referring to the waste hauling.
Yeah, so, no, and honestly, all of our contracts are pretty much locked in. The only thing that we have had is one minor adjustment, which you all should have just approved in your consent agenda for some crack sealing as a part of our all-inclusive contract that we extended. It's very minor. And I say that to say that the current contract that we are getting ready to do for the fog seal currently coming up is, Davey can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was approximately $10,000 to $15,000 for crack sealing, if not less than that. So it's very trivial in nature, and all the other contracts we should have are pretty much locked down. So unless they come back and you all voluntarily decide to do something similar to what we did with the waste hauler, I don't see that happening.
Just to circle back, the county budget is going to be presented to the commissioners on Monday, June 2nd. So that's this coming Monday.
and they are set to adopt the budget on June 16th. So by Monday, June 2nd, we should know what they're looking to do.
Okay, any other questions from anyone? All right, with
All right,
that, we're
so I'm
going to
going to
need
make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 25-26 general fund budget ordinance as presented.
Further discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next up, we have unfinished business. Discuss and consider, first up, discuss and consider entering agreement with Dewberry for archaeological study of proposed Tullamore Phase 4.
Yeah, if you guys remember a couple meetings ago,
At a cost, hold on, at a cost not to exceed $20,000 with the 10% contingency and allow manager to execute agreement. Sorry.
my bad. If you remember a couple meetings ago, I brought this up to y'all. We got a contract from Dewberry for archaeological studies, reconnaissance, to put on a study over there at the proposed Tullamore Phase 4 area. In turn, went back and looked around, kind of scoured the web to find smaller groups who kind of specialize in this type of ordeal. That turned out to be pretty difficult. Wasn't a lot of groups out there that after reaching out and poking around. So I'm putting this contract back in front of y'all. If it was something we wanted to go forward with, just kind of throwing it back to y'all.
I think it's worth noting here too, if I can add, that we do not have any funding left in the Greenways and Trails capital. I say we don't have any. We have what has been encumbered thus far for some of the projects that we've had in the queue. So that being said, this is not something that we have funding for. And Jill can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not think that the full amount of what we anticipate for the construction for this trail is adequately budgeted for either. So just letting y'all know.
But we're going back to revisit, just because we couldn't find anyone that.
That focus on war cemeteries and stuff like that, and that just kind of fizzled.
Yeah, I would say, and we can certainly bring this up within the PRG meeting we've got coming up next week. I did have some conversation with Christina Traub, that she might have some leads on some things, and given the fact that we haven't necessarily dedicated the funding for this piece of it yet, nor the funding for this survey yet, I would say give us a little bit more time, maybe just to look into, what other groups there might be that might be able to have an impact on it. In the end, it may mean that we have to do this, one way or the other. But I don't know necessarily trying to find and come up with money for this prior to us even having, the money dedicated for the project itself. I don't know that there's a rush to necessarily do it yet.
I'm not inclined at this point to try to spend that money. I mean, if we can continue to see if there's other groups out there, I think that would be good. I don't, one, we just don't have the money to do it. I'm not inclined to do it right now.
And there's no rush on completing this project, so if we have some possibilities of finding a cheaper way to do it and still get the job done correctly, and I say we continue to keep looking and see what we can come up with.
don't we cross that bridge when we get there, once we get the funding for it, then we would consider it, rather than,
Yeah, it's almost like if we haven't found something by then we have to include this funding as part of the project, essentially, you know?
that's where I'm at. Anyone, other comments? All right, so we don't need to make a motion if we're not gonna, all right, thank you. All right. Moving on to unfinished business, discuss and consider adoption of a resolution to assume maintenance of certain NCDOT roads within the Valhalla Farms and Providence Ridge subdivisions pending approval by NCDOT. This was from the last meeting, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. So I'm bringing back the resolution. We have the paperwork ready to go to petition the North Carolina Department of Transportation to take over roads in the Valhalla Farms subdivision, as well as Nellie Lane and Grigg Lane in Providence Ridge subdivision. All of the roads fall within the incorporated limits of Marvin, except for one little slither of road on Prince Valiant. I reached out to one of the two property owners that are adjacent to that roadway, and there was no interest whatsoever in annexing into the village of Marvin, which therefore that portion of road is extended into the unincorporated area of Union County. So because of that conversation, I went ahead and put the paperwork together to petition for all of these roads, including Prince Valiant, up to our incorporated limits. So I don't anticipate any issues with the North Carolina Department of Transportation not abandoning that road based on that one little, whether it's 100 feet, 200 feet, it's not very far, but
Is that the properties that are part of the entrance onto Great Byram?
it is. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir. So that's where we are right now. Now, I've also reached out to the Homeowner Association president for Willow Creek because there are 14 properties along the two roads that they have in their neighborhood. And all of these roads were resurfaced at the same time under the North Carolina Department of Transportation resurfacing project. But we're still in conversations about potential annexation before we take over those roads. So it's a little premature to speak on those roads, but I did not want to hold up the process waiting on that to play out when we could go ahead and petition for these 6 roads and go ahead and get that in the system with the DOT. These 6 roads, their 1-year warranty period does come up in July, so this puts us right on pace if we get it turned over to the DOT for them to do their studies and then turn it over to their board for the vote to abandon the roads in the July timeframe, hopefully in the July timeframe.
So when you said Providence Ridge, Nellie, and Grigg Lanes, those are because those 2 in particular versus some of their other streets are the ones that are all Marvin residents?
Yes, sir. They fall within the incorporated limits. And do have all Marvin residents on them.
I got no issue with it. It's
All right,
straightforward.
so I'm gonna make a motion to adopt a resolution to assume maintenance of certain NCDOT roads within the Valhalla Farms and Providence Ridge subdivisions pending approval by NCDOT.
Further discussion? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, new business. We don't have anything, I don't think. All right, moving on to open topics. Does anybody have anything?
I do. I've got a couple, sorry. So Christina put in an email about some funding topics, or funding opportunities. And she said, if you're interested, put it in other topics. So there is an NC Parks Grants that is going to open on May 1st. The application deadline's November 3rd. It can be used to acquire land for public parks, develop a new park site, renovate, replace outdoor recreational, or support facilities at existing park sites. I mean, is this a matched grant?
It is, it's a 50%.
50%? Okay, and what would the amount be?
I think it was 1 million, but I'd have to go back and check for sure.
Max of 500. So with each application and must match grant dollar for dollar or greater. So it looks like 500,000. So Jill, if we decided to go for this and we got it, would we have the matching funds? Yes and no.
Yes and no. It depends on when this project would take place, the payment schedule. I'm assuming, like a traditional project, we would have the bulk of the expenses during the tail end, which is the construction phases. So I would need to know the years that this project would be done before I could really answer that. What I will tell you is, even if we needed to borrow from certain funds temporarily while we pay and wait to get reimbursed, I do feel pretty good I could cover 500,000, but would feel more comfortable if I had years and dates to confirm.
And do I recall you saying during the budget work sessions that there is still an already dedicated amount that we have set aside? I thought it was like 200,000 or something.
For land,
Yeah,
in land acquisition, we have about 335 to 350, something like that, yeah. So the bulk of it I would take from there.
gotcha.
It looks like it's a 3-year project. Looks like you have 3 years to complete it.
Yeah, and they probably wouldn't award it until spring of next year, which would be on the tail end of finishing out the Part F that we're currently under.
Yep.
So that it more than likely it would free up. We would basically have that amount freed up.
Okay.
But-
I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't go for it, go after it for the max amount and see what we get.
Agree.
Well, Tyler and I can have some
Yeah,
more
I agree.
conversations and do a little bit more
Okay.
research too.
Okay, so that was one. My second thing is Christina also sent us an email back on the 13th of May. It was Union County Senior Nutrition. And it looks like Union County is asking us to help feed, it looks like maybe 5 people, 3 people within the village of Marvin, who, it's a senior nutrition program. I mean, it looks like it is an annual cost for frozen meals of about $2,000 a person and $1,500 for the warm meals. I mean, I don't know how we can't, I mean, I think we have to do this. Like, I mean, we don't have to, obviously, but, I mean, we have people within the village who need food and are hungry, and, I mean, I don't know. I think this is an easy one for us. but-
So, a young man from Wesley Chapel came to WUMA, and it's the Meals on Wheels project, basically. And throughout the county, they're experiencing a pretty large shortfall of funding for the different communities. I know Wesley Chapel has committed to take care of their folks in their community. And they've been beating the bushes trying to find funding to help these people because they can't fund Meals on Wheels. From my standpoint, I know we've always talked about, tax dollars not spending them throughout the county, but I have no problem spending them on our own residents who are paying the taxes to help our own residents. And it's a small amount, it's a small number of people, and I don't see any reason why we can't, support this program to support our own community.
Yep.
So based off of this, are we looking at assisting 2 people or 5 people?
I don't know. I don't know how to, one says initial waiting list, the other one says current waiting list. So I'm thinking there's 3 people.
I actually, when I read it before, when it was, WUMA was discussing it, I asked about the different municipalities and how many, and I heard there was 1 in Marvin. There's 2, okay.
Well, right now it says 3, so I don't know if it's
That may
3.
have increased. It's been 3 months since we
Yeah.
talked about it at WUMA, and he did say 2 in Marvin. He went down the list of each municipality, and We had two at that time.
So
I
you
will
said
tell
the
you-
cost per person is like 1,500, so we'd essentially be talking
35.
about 3,500?
Yeah.
It sounds like 2,000 for frozen foods and
Okay, it's both of
1,500 for
those.
warm
Okay.
meals
So it'd be
per
3 times
person.
35, we're talking about a $10,000 investment.
Yeah, 10,000 if there's 3 residents, 15,000 if there's 5. I will tell you, it's a marginal amount of money. You will have that margin in your budget to cover it, even though it's not a budgeted expense.
Okay, that was gonna be my
I
next
don't have a
question.
problem.
Okay, so can we just put this on the consent agenda for the June meeting? And if you guys can reach out to, it looks like Patrick Nyland, who's the deputy county manager, and let him know that we would be happy to, do we need to vote on this?
Participate.
It's not reduced to writing yet. I would wait until next month to actually vote on this. So once
Okay.
you have all the details in front of you.
Okay, all right, perfect. But if you guys can work on that and let them know. Okay, thank you. And then, Christina, do you have an update on the fence that is crossing Pacer Lane?
I do not have one at current. I know Union County was still working out a couple of details on their end, and have yet to hear back from Union County.
Okay, if you can find that out, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm done, thanks.
Any other open topics?
I do actually have two.
Okay.
So,
I have one more, I'm sorry. It's just real quick. Austin has sent out 2 emails now about the survey. Please read and send him questions or go in and see him about the survey. We are not going question by question on the work session. It is going to be a vote.
It's going to be discussing any changes proposed since, and then a vote, and then just a few minutes on the process. Points to both John and Wayne for getting me questions early.
Good. I don't have any because I've been there, so.
I'm in the meeting, so we got it all squared away. Help a pull.
Okay, now I'm finished. I'm sorry.
I have no questions.
All right. Go ahead, Andy.
All right, so, so this is an ongoing thing, has been for some time. And it's not that it hasn't been addressed, but speeding in the village. I know that a resident brought it up last regular meeting. We've been trying different things. We've hired off-duty. Kim and I were discussing it after that meeting, and we feel like that we may have to even go to Sheriff Kathy if we, and figure out some other way. I know that, I don't know if everybody saw, but on the last deputy's report, the Marvin Road radar showed a max speed of 120 miles per hour. That is from the traffic circle to that sign. That is an incredible amount of speed and is extremely dangerous. There are neighborhoods there, there are crossing people there, there's all kinds of things there. I don't know what time of day it was, but any time of day, it's excessive. I see it all the time on Waxhaw Marvin Road. It has become a major deal, and I feel like that it's slipping through the cracks somehow or another as hard as we try. So I'm open to suggestions. Anybody, council, anybody in the village, anybody that has some idea what we can do to get this under control. It's becoming more of a problem than it has been, it seems like. It seems to be escalating. That's one. Two, I happened to be going to a job in Belgrove the other day, and as I pulled in the entrance, there was a pickup truck that crested the hill in my lane because there was a car parked on the side of the road. Had I been just a second earlier, that may have been more than just a little scare. Said pickup truck was more than likely doing more than 25 miles per hour and could not see. So I asked Davey if he would take some pictures of the sight line for me in that neighborhood. He did get one from one direction, but has got to get the one from the other direction. It was brought to my attention by a resident there that their CCRs prohibit parking on the streets in their subdivision completely. So what I'd like to do is discuss amending our parking ordinance to support their CCRs, especially in that area where it is very dangerous. Now, this is not the first time that I've seen that car parked in that same spot. Over the last several years, it seems to be, there's always a car parked there, and it's a very bad sight line. So it is dangerous for pedestrians, for cars, for whatever. So, thoughts?
If we change the how would we change the parking ordinance to, like, what do you think that would look like? I mean, I'm fine with it.
So for me-
If their neighborhood's fine with it, like,
Well, for me, well, they're Marvin Village roads. For me, I would suggest a no parking period from the entrance to, what's the street?
You all have done these in the past. It's a simple ordinance that we would just update. There's
the-
there's a section in the ordinances that show no parking locations. We would draft that ordinance, you would pass it. It wouldn't be in effect until there was a sign posted.
The main thing, I mean, I understand that, like, there's going to be contractors and stuff parked in the neighborhood, so we'd have to reflect that. But that certain section shouldn't have any parking whatsoever because it's a safety concern. You cannot see coming over that rise if there's somebody else and you have to go around a car. The streets are very narrow in the neighborhood. They're just barely 2 lanes, so parking on the street is a problem. You can't park in the grass, according to their CCRs either, so it's, people park on the street and it's very dangerous in there. So
couldn't we just do the entire neighborhood if they're CCRs?
Well, so I guess that's part of my question. So if their CCRs already say that they can't do that, but I don't know what, if any effect they're enforcing them, but even then, if we kind of come over the top, I don't know that we can say just this section.
That's what I'm wondering.
Because.
we can, because they're village streets. And the difference between CCRs in a neighborhood and the village putting in parking ordinances, the sheriff can enforce our parking ordinance,
Okay.
which they
So-
can't enforce CCRs.
Okay, so Christina, can we have Chaplin look into that and bring that back to us at the regular meeting? I don't, go ahead.
You definitely can. It would just be an ordinance to amend your traffic provisions.
Yeah.
So we can, he can definitely look into it, but his answer is going to be exactly what,
Okay.
that you have the authority to do it. So it's just a matter of
I mean,
if you guys want to do it or not.
Does the neighborhood want it?
I mean, I don't know if the neighborhood wants it. What I can tell you is a safety issue. I mean, I was almost in an accident because somebody couldn't see me and they were in the wrong lane. So it's obviously it's a safety issue. And that's my biggest concern is that stretch. And as far as the rest of the neighborhood, if they, the CCR say you can't park on the street and if they don't want to enforce them, that's their problem. But in that stretch right there, it's a safety concern.
Okay. Davey, can you get us pictures? Okay, I want to just be able to see it. I'm fine with it. I mean, especially if it is a safety issue. But I'd probably like to get a little more information, and then we can put it on the agenda.
Put it on
and
the
talk
next
it.
agenda
Yeah.
and have Chaplin look at it. Anything else?
Thank you.
I just wanted to note that we did have a WUMA meeting where we had David Willis and, what's the other representative? Dean Arp
Dean Arp.
showed up. So we had Waxhaw, pretty well attended, I would say, mostly Waxhaw residents.
Standing room.
Yeah. So some good information. It doesn't look like, Bill 765 is getting any wings, but somehow the people in the audience wanted them to swear. But, as we know, that we have to listen to just about anything, so things come up, and I don't see it going anywhere based on what they were talking about. Anything else we learned? I know, John, you were there, Andy.
I mean, my only concern is that that the bill is in finance, and it can come out of finance in bits and pieces that could be stuck on other bills. And I think that was one of the big things that some of the folks were adamant about, is that they don't want any pieces of this bill to go through, and I have to agree. And that's my biggest concern, is how it comes out of finance, because it didn't just die on the floor, it was sent to finance. So there is still the possibility of some of it coming out and getting stuck on something else. But that was pretty much the other thing that they touched on was the state budget that they're working on, and the House's proposal for their side, which did sound promising. I have to commend the House of Representatives for their work and what sounds like a good budget. We'll see how far it goes.
Yeah, the only thing I was a little disappointed was it sounds like Mr. Willis is not in favor of any annexation or ability to revisit that, which is unfortunate because I had mentioned in the meeting that there is representation without taxation, and one person in the audience challenged me, and I think I was sharing this with someone earlier, that one thing I missed is like her point to us was, and I kind of took that question on, is like, how am I, what am I not participating in, or what am I missing that Marvin is doing? And the sheer fact I pointed out that having another full-time officer that, God forbid, if they would need that person, two full-time officers, we added an additional one. You benefit from that. You benefit from, waste services being one waste service rather than both. But I neglected to say is probably the most important thing is that there's a good chance I got that family home faster and many other families home faster by having, I'm sorry? And safer by providing the funding that helped NCODT, that moved the roundabouts along. So having those areas, and I think I proposed even in that meeting, is let's have a bill that, that taps the people that don't get taxed in municipalities to maybe fund some of this stuff, because my question was really for them, how can we afford to, when what DOT is asking us to participate in can be sometimes a third, a half, sometimes a full budget, annual budget, how can we do that when we don't have a funding mechanism for that? His belief was, and I think David said, it's just, he wants to revisit would like to revisit all of how DOT does things. That's a longer, I don't know how that changes.
Ambitious.
He's been saying that for years.
Yeah, and it's not gonna happen, so, but he's not in favor, because I know we talked about annexation in here and where we could go with that. But, I mean, we've been somewhat successful in bringing in people to our community. I challenge other municipalities to say that, but we've been successful in it. But we need the support, we need the help, and I just don't see how neighborhoods that are smack dab in the middle of where we are not participating financially at all.
I would say that I was thinking about this from being at that meeting, and one of the ways that we could do it specifically to the roads is trying to encourage the county when they look at things like these critical intersection programs, and they're providing at least some of the funding, if they would at least provide larger amounts of the funding. Yes, Marvin would also pitch in, the state typically puts in a big amount, but at least if we could lobby the county to put in more of a share, that burden would be spread out amongst all Union County taxpayers to a fairer degree than, kind of the meager, amounts that they do now.
They have 300,000 a year that they put towards.
Towards all of them.
All of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
They don't have
I
the
think
money
at
to
least
do it
if we
either.
could encourage them to build that up and
They don't
put
have the
in
money
more.
for it either.
I don't care what you say, you cannot sit in that audience and say that you're not benefiting from what Marvin residents are doing. And we are doing what we need to do and capturing those communities that are in the heart of where Marvin is. There's no reason they shouldn't be a part of Marvin right now.
I have a question. Why don't we tell the audience or the people of Marvin how much money we're going to spend on 3 new roundabouts that's coming through? About $5 million.
But this is one thing that I think that a lot of people don't understand, and we well understand this, and this is a directive, this is a rule from NCDOT. If The road is within your municipality. You must contribute 20% to construction costs for any development in your
And
municipality.
be
If you do
responsible
not,
for overruns.
yes, and if you do not, the project does not get done. So there is no option for us. We have to do it if we're gonna do these road improvements, i.e. roundabouts. There's no choice. They don't give us an option. So in order for those folks that are unincorporated to get these roads done, we have to foot 20% of the bill, period. End of story. So that is something that's very important for everybody that's listening. All your neighbors that are unincorporated and you're sitting there paying the bill and they're not for the roads that they use, it's not fair for those of us that pay those taxes for those roads when your neighbor's not.
Then unincorporated should have a special classification then.
That was my point.
Because if, I mean, WUMA, you got there, is there anyone from unincorporated?
No, it's
No,
municipalities.
they have no representation.
Right.
So they should have their own special classification that says they too, I mean, when you get the tax bill, it goes out to unincorporated, and they, as an unincorporated with a special classification, have to come up with the 20% as well. You know, someone can twist it around and say that you're looking at it and saying that, what's the term for it when they contribute money as a,
I know.
well, it's kind of
Special
like, it's
assessment.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, once again, there's no incentive.
fee.
Impact fee. So impact fee, someone could term it as an impact fee. But there's no reason, you know, we got a stone's throw, right here. It's a stone's throw away, they pay zero. So maybe that's a pitch, maybe there's a pitch back to WUMA, start at WUMA, because they have their own voice in WUMA, to take it back to the county and go, and listen, here's the thing, because I talk to other council people in other municipalities, they're not the only one, we're not the only one. I mean, it's in every, and you got pockets that go, I'm not paying, I'm not coming in. Well, then it just hurts the municipality.
Well, I mean, especially when you're talking about a municipality like Mineral Springs, okay? I'm not picking on them, it's a great place to live, but their budget, there are people in this community that have a larger annual budget than they have for their entire village. They cannot afford to pay a 20% match for a road project in that town, period. They don't have the money.
So it's not gonna get done.
So it'll never get done. They can't do the road improvements there at the center of town where the red light is. They can't afford to do the improvements there because they are required 20%. They don't, and they'll never have that budget.
I think, just thinking out loud, to your point, Jamie, if you're part of the state, you're part of using the roads, you should be part, at some point, a portion of it, whether it's specific to unincorporated, where if they're gonna do a roundabout, and we've designated a roundabout for that area, then that, I don't know how you would figure it out, but there has to be some participation, because they are part of the state, they are part of the county. They may not be part of the municipality, but the municipality having to fork out extra dollars, why? Just because it happens to be in there when they're the ones that are using it. I guarantee you, if we're having whatever the count is on vehicles coming through here, do the math. It's not all Marvin and stuff. So it's unfortunate, but I was very disheartened to hear David say something about, he kind of threw that, like that's going nowhere. He doesn't see why someone should be taxed on something. He's looking more for like a user tax type program where but how do you determine that for something like this?
I think he's right in trying to figure out a way to reform NCDOT, but that's a long process, and there's a lot more that needs to be done a lot sooner than that. I mean, yes, NCDOT is a mess, and it would be great if it was reformed, and that's a worthy project, but not gonna fix the problems we have right now.
We identified that I-77 north from the state line to downtown was a problem back in 2007. and not one shovel has hit the dirt yet.
Yeah.
So I'm not relying on them, and I think being truthful, David would say he shouldn't be relying on them either. But I do believe there's a chance at WUMA, starting with WUMA, to come together and say, we need to have a special classification for unincorporated throughout the entire state.
Or have the county propose it. There could be an
Well,
extra
but-
excess tax on the
I know,
the
but
county.
WUMA can propose it to the county.
Right.
And if it's organized correctly, here's where the rubber meets the road. When it gets to Raleigh, you have all of the legislatures in the House representatives and the senators and stuff that, let's be honest, let's call a spade. They are in the development business, and they put their developments in unincorporated. And you know why? Because they don't have to pay the taxes, and they don't have to fund what's going on in the rest of the state. So until you have some type of leverage with them, it's not going to change. It's just an unfortunate situation, but we're sitting right here in the middle of it.
Yeah, I took David's comments more as he was just facing the reality of it, from an
But his
annexation.
solution
or from-
is so far fetched from being done. I mean, what could we do now? I know it's not on topic and
We're getting a little off topic. Open topics is really meant to be more brief updates.
Right.
Since this is not really on the agenda, we can add this as a topic to the next agenda.
Yeah, we
But
will.
we're getting a little-
What
we're
we'll
getting
do
a
is,
little off
what we'll
topic.
do is we'll take it to WUMA again, and I'll reach out to them to see if we can have some sort of open topic discussion at WUMA to see if there's interest, because I know there's got to be, and that would include impact fees too. Sorry about that. But I just wanted to point that out. That meeting was held. It was a well-attended meeting, and appreciate some of the councilmen that were there asking questions and comments and stuff. So, but good time spent. That said, moving on to review of action items.
Got it. Going back through the agenda, we're gonna have Chaplin and Davey look into street parking in Bell Grove. Christina's gonna get an update on the situation with Pacer Lane. We'll have the Union County Senior Nutrition, have that formally written, reduced to writing, and have that on the consent agenda next month. We're gonna move forward with that grant application on the agenda, on the consent agenda, well, not the consent agenda. Davey's going to move forward with the paperwork for the roads in Valhalla Farms and Providence Ridge. We're going to keep looking amongst staff and with council and PRG for a local group to do the archaeological studies for the proposed Tullamore Phase 4 trail. You guys have adopted your budget, so we'll get that posted on the website. We'll move forward with the RFP for Village Hall Park as long as PRG is good with the plans. Move forward with the asphalt resurfacing of Wheatfield Drive and Wingfoot Drive entrances. We'll move forward with the fog ceiling in Ennisbrook, Woodcliff, and in certain roads in Marvin Creek. Skimming back here. I think that's about it. Yeah, that should be about it. You guys are going to give Hunter feedback on the comprehensive plan RFQ, and that's it. Yep.
Okay. Anything else? Next up, review of the mayor pro Kim list.
Okay, stormwater and pavement condition studies, that was supposed to be at this work session. Do we have any of that? Stormwater studies?
Microphone.
Still working on it, okay.
Sorry.
Let's just push that out to, let's do the July work session. Christina, did you and Davey do the extension of the miscellaneous asphalt contract?
We're still working on that minor little amendment that you guys approved in your consent. We had to make a little adjustment, so we're still working on that, but we'll get it.
Okay, Austin, if you can just move that out to the June work session.
Which one was that?
Asphalt contract extension.
Asphalt
And then what about concrete contract?
That one, we have not done that one because we've kind of tied these two together, but that, we can get that one done, no problem.
Okay, put that one at the June work session too. You can complete the comprehensive plan since we have it. Did we hear back from the preserve, the traffic calming? No? Okay. So it's been 60 days from then, so let's just go ahead and complete that. I'm assuming Hunter sent the resolution in opposition of the House bill.
Yes, I sent that off.
Okay, complete that, please. Davey, did you order the no U-turn signs for Oak Brook? Okay, they're getting ordered tomorrow, he
You
said.
guys approved it tonight.
Okay, okay. Oh, yeah, of course, duh, okay. Ba, 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 ba. Tyler, have you folded the trail standards into the spec manual? Okay. Okay. Okay, that's it, I'm done.
Actually, no, Tyler, you haven't done that yet. That was that email that I sent Friday.
He said he hadn't done it yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
Can I just circle back to something real quick? I checked with my contact at the county, and I do have an answer about where they are with revenue neutral. Their revenue neutral rate came out to be 41.6 cents. They are currently considering adopting a rate that's $1.82 higher than that, which would end up being at $43.42. So we were a half of a penny above revenue neutral. They're looking at being almost $2 above revenue neutral at the county level.
2 cents?
Two,
$2 or 2 cents?
oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
I was about to say,
1.82 cents, my bad, I'm sorry. Thank you. It's been a long night.
You said $2, I about long.
It's been a long night, sorry. 1.82 cents above revenue neutral is where they're likely going to be.
Yeah, you gave me a little bit of a,
I just gave myself a little heart attack, too.
we owe some money this time. so. Thank you for getting that. All right, moving on, council comments. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I don't have
I
anything.
got nothing.
I just wanted to thank staff especially. This is my second time going through the whole budgeting process. Kind of a funky year with the revaluation. And Marvin, of course, you know, in respect to many other municipalities, is on the higher end of those increased valuations. But I thank staff. I know we had to make some tough decisions for what folks have identified as good, legitimate projects that will long-term help serve the village of Marvin, but we had to make decisions, and I've said, you know, all year leading to this, that my hope is to get as close to revenue neutral as we can with still being responsible. I'm glad we did tighten the belt, and just want to thank my fellow council people for, you know, understanding that some of our folks are going to have maybe 20 to 30% increases in their actual taxes they pay, whereas others may be on the lower side of that. But I think we did a good job in being responsible, and appreciate both staff and fellow council members in working through all this.
Were you reading my notes? Thank you, John. Andy?
I'm good.
No, he was reading my notes, I did so.
Oh, you passed them to him? Okay. Who else? Wayne?
I want to thank the council, the staff, and happy birthday, Austin.
thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot to say that, so. Yeah, you want to say something now?
No, I've told him like 8. I texted him first thing this morning.
I had it on my calendar. I just hadn't gotten around to it.
And I signed his birthday card.
Ah,
I didn't
something
sign
I
his
have
birthday
not.
card.
Come see the birthday card afterwards.
Jamie,
I auto-pinned his birthday card.
you had other people auto pen it for you?
Yeah.
Very nice.
No, great comment to John, very well put. Great job to staff, all staff, because they had budget cuts and budget decisions they had to make. And great job, Jill, you and Christina. I know it was a lot of hard work. We put a lot of stuff on you and changes and asking questions, stuff like that. So thanks for doing that. And council as well. I just always continue to say that from a council standpoint, we have to always find the fine line of kicking the can down the road and being responsible. And I think for this budget, especially like John said, with the reevaluation and all of that, that I think we had a good balance. But that's something that is always going to be a part of the discussion for councils down the road. So thanks, council and staff. Law enforcement was not here tonight. They've got a tough job. Thank you to them. Be safe, and thanks for what you do.
Thanks, Jamie. I want to start by, we changed this meeting, this work session meeting, to be in the evening so more people can attend. I want to thank you for showing up. We have one person in the audience, so we do this for the community. We're trying to be as transparent as we can, plus all the process through when we started this in January. Again, thank you, staff, for getting into your own budgets and accepting the fact that, you know, cuts need to be made to get where we are. And especially Christina and Jill for getting this through and obviously being on time, unlike the federal government. No, I'm not. No, I mean, or actually having a budget. Let's just start there with the federal government. Apparently, it's supposed to be done here, but can't be done there. But more importantly, too, to John's point, thanking council. I did have it here. Thank you guys for since the meeting started up in I can't even remember the place we went to, Old North State. It was just great camaraderie and a way to get things done. I think it's something I want to continue to have this council do. Congrats also, I know I said this in the last meeting, but this will truly be the last meeting before graduation. So congrats to the high school graduates. Great job this year, and also to the graduates of any colleges that some are graduating from, or, you know, for that matter.
Not the
And
fifth graders?
what?
Not the fifth graders or the
The
eighth graders?
fifth graders and eighth graders, whoever's graduating, it's that time of year, so let's embrace it and enjoy it. And more importantly, congrats to the upcoming empty nesters.
Was that you?
Me being one of them. We got them through, so.
All right, on that note.
Yeah, so with that, we'll need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All's in favor?
Aye.
No one's ever said no to that. Motion passed, thank you. Point out that lady. You too. Sorry my ladder didn't work, but apparently you had the